is awesome.
Everything is awesome. Everything is awesome.
Everything is awesome.
Won't he make you?
Hey.
Okay, shoulders. Come on, shoulders. I got caught up in the Instagram moment about this jacket. They look great.
I love it.
We're
It's awesome.
shouldering.
It's awesome.
Okay. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of All Things Behind the Scenes with your girl, Nina Payne. Thank you for joining us today. Look, this podcast is about events. We talk about all things events, what happens before the event, during the event, and after the event. Who are these amazing people that have to manage all the thousands of details to make sure that you have an amazing experience? And then we also talk about the navigation and management of doing the events business, the ups and the downs and the ins and the outs. We talk about it all here on All Things Behind the Scenes. And so, but today we're going to do an after show. And what is an after show? We've conducted several interviews. I've had several chats with several people in the event production business, and we are going to actually have a conversation about some of the tidbits, some of the gems, some of the diamonds that they left us. And so I want to introduce a couple members of our foundation management team. Today we have Alaina and Cam Elena.
What up, go?
See, I said Cam Elena.
Mhm.
So, Cam, why don't you introduce yourself to the people, tell them how long you've been with foundation management and what you do?
I'm Cam. What's up, family? I've been with Foundation Management for 5-ish years. I am currently the event manager over at Marygrove Conservancy. So
So,
that's what I do on the team right now.
So I'm just going to embellish a little bit.
Go
So
ahead.
so Cam is not only, she's been around for longer than that,
Okay.
in and out.
In and out.
Started years ago when I first met her, and then now she's a full-fledged event manager for one of our clients. But she is one of our leads. She's super dynamic. We talk about the fact that she boxes with a velvet glove. She's one of those people who may be soft-spoken, but she means what she said, and she says what she means. And so I really appreciate you being a part of this team. You are a gem on the team, and we could not do this without you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I gotta feel my feelings now. Okay.
And I mean what
you.
I said, and I said what I mean.
I said what I said.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
and so we have Alaina. Alaina, introduce yourself to the people. After the applause. What's going on behind the scenes, folks? Producers, what y'all doing over there?
We getting it right.
We're doing it all right. So, Alaina, introduce yourself to the people. How long you been with Foundation Management, and what do you do?
Okay, I'm Alaina, and I've been with Foundation Management for about a year now. And I assist Miss Nina Payne, and I'm an event lead with Foundation Management. Here for a
It's so
good time.
interesting because every time you guys introduce yourselves, you act like this is like just the matter of fact of the thing. And, I guess it is, but I just have to embellish a little bit. So, these things don't run on their own. I need support. I need to do, there's a lot to do, a lot of details. We're running multi divisions within one company, and I am blessed to have somebody that I can count on, lean on, call in the middle of the night, send a bunch of emails to with some to-dos on them, and she gets them done. So I too really appreciate you being a part of the team.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, my feelings now. Feel my feelings now.
Feel the feelings.
Just feel them.
And so, if you're just joining us, this is what we do. We're talking about a couple of the interviews that we had with some amazing event professionals, and we're going to comment about them. And I'm super excited to hear, now that you guys have watched the episodes, what you feel about our girl, Sommer Woods. And so, Sommer Woods has been a friend of mine for quite some time. She is the ultimate event professional. She absolutely loves event production. And if you don't know what that is, it's really taking a clean slate on medium to large size events and actually building all the building blocks. Generally, there's no venue. It might be in a park, or it might be in an odd kind of place where you actually have to create it from scratch. And so putting all those things, making sure there's power, making sure signs are hung up because you don't have any place to hide them. I mean, to hang them up, and making sure the entrance and the exit for people and all the things. And so she's a master at that. And so it was really a privilege to sit down and talk to her. So Cam, you first. So what kind of nuggets did you get from our interview?
First of all, her interview was great. She's so entertaining. Like I wanted to listen to it. I
She
listened to
is.
it on my way home last
She's a
night.
hoot.
She is a hoot. She's hilarious. But it just made me recognize some of like our similar, like some of the similar things that I love about events, which is just cool to hear. And I'm like, oh yeah, I love that too. One of the things being like none of my days look the same. Not one. There's never a dull moment. There's never a day that looks the same. And I don't think I realized how much that was important to me until I made the switch from corporate to doing events full time. So I just used to get bored and I hated it. I got to a point where I just hated doing the same thing all day, every day. And I just love that, even though I have a list and I have structure to some degree of what I think I want to get done in a day, none of my days look the same. And I just love that. But it was just cool to hear just like some of the great things about, just being in the events world in general and just some of the similarities with event professionals.
Yeah, she has done both too. Being in
Yeah.
corporate, she's worked for the government in doing events. She's always as long as I can remember done events on the side, whether she's had a full-time job or she had an events company. She's done so much and so many things. And so if you want to know about that transition between corporate and events or corporate and running your own company, she is somebody to kind of tap into because she's experienced all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Alaina, what did you garner from our conversation?
Man, I mean, I'll echo kind of what Cam said. Like her presence was just so amazing. Like I felt like I knew her
Mhm.
after
Yeah.
I listened, and I'm sure she gets
She's
that all the
everybody's
time. Like
homegirl.
she is
Yes.
a
She's
everybody's
homegirl.
homegirl.
She's my homegirl officially.
Mhm.
She hasn't met me yet, but that's my homegirl.
Definitely.
So, but yeah, just showing up as yourself authentically, like
Mm.
no matter what. Like I think that is what I took away. The biggest thing I took away. I mean, it's just so important because if you're not you, then
Right.
who are you? Like,
Who
what are you
are you?
doing? So, yeah, just a good reminder.
And I think she is one of the people, and I think all the people that I interviewed are kind of in that space. And I think I'm attracted to people who just are themselves. Like I
I
just
can see that.
love people showing up as them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just show up as me, and I marvel at that. And so I'm always, confused when people have difficulty showing up as themselves. And so I'm an advocate for how do we get you just to know who you are and arrive and show up unapologetically with it. Unapolog- Unapologetically. Let's get the word right. Let's get it right. Unapologetically. So for me, showing up, with my bald head for the last 20 years, or, I get comments still about the gap in my teeth and whether I'm going to correct it. And so and with a like what laugh, no, this is who I am, and no shade to anybody who wants to correct the gap in their teeth, but for me, this is me all day, and I just accept the things that, the way that God has made me. So Cam, moving on to something else, what other gem did she drop on you?
Other gem. She just said so much. It was very hard to like figure out what
So
to talk
much. So
about.
much.
But the funny thing is, listening to all of these interviews, one of the themes was like that path from 9 to 5 or corporate to being an entrepreneur and how it's
Hmm.
not linear. A lot of people
Mhm.
think you just quit your job and then you just go and be an entrepreneur and then everything's just going to be great, and it's just like A to B situation. It's not.
Mm.
Mhm.
And that's the funny part. But on the other side of that, which I do appreciate, is just the freedom that comes with, being an entrepreneur and being able to, take on the projects that you want to take on, that you're passionate about, that you want to do, and the clients that, you get to choose who you do or do not want to work with, which I think is amazing. You don't have that same autonomy when you're working for someone else or working corporate. You have to kind of just do, do whatever with what you've been given.
Yeah.
And that's just one of the perks about being on the other side of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
But it's not just like a linear, perfect, transition all the time.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I talked to several of our interviewees about their transition from corporate to having your own business, or just, that movement, that transition. I think we talked to several people who had to do both for a really long time,
Mhm.
or they weren't ready to jump. They wanted to make sure that they had enough money saved up and they were going to be secure. And so it's different for everybody. But it's so super important to kind of know what that looks like for you before you make the leap. There's this whole trend
It's
of
a
be a boss,
trend.
be a
It's a
boss, be a
thing.
boss, be a
Yeah.
boss.
Leave your job today.
Right. Like it's cute in theory, but also
Pay
like
the bills.
It
the
is,
bills.
and
The
it's
bills.
it is there's so much more to it,
Yeah.
right? Social media makes it look like it is just you do this, that, and the other, and
Mhm.
boom, you're a business owner. And that may be so for the paperwork part of it, but
Right.
it's not the consistency part of it. It's not the brand part of it, and it's not, making money part of it.
Mhm.
And not just making money for a period of time. We're talking about longevity in the business. And so, are you able to kind of sustain and do the thing? And so, just before you take that leap, just make sure that you have a plan and make sure that plan is sustainable. And so, I think that's different, like for everybody. And so, so many nuggets.
many,
Alaina,
so
did you
many
have something
nuggets.
else? Was a nugget
Um,
that Miss Sommer shared?
Yes. Using volunteer opportunities
Mm.
to learn and gain experience. That is like key because I feel like a lot of times people are just not humble enough to even realize, like, look, I might have to work for free. I might have to, serve in church. I might have to do things that, might not pay out monetarily, but, in the long run, it's an investment into yourself and an investment into, possibly your business, your future business.
Have you done that?
That's huge.
Oh, yes. Yes. Many, many. Absolutely. Absolutely. I served, singing for years and years and years. And it's gotten me a lot of my, stage presence, performance experience that I think has been key for sure.
Absolutely. And I think you're right. I think it's undervalued,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
volunteerism. And what people don't realize that one, it's about helping someone else. And it always feels good to help
It's about
someone else.
service. Yeah.
The other thing is you learn so much.
You do.
Like imagine if you are a singer and you volunteer for a studio, you know what I mean? And you get to learn what happens behind the scenes and you actually get to sing background on a couple things. Like there's so much opportunity in volunteerism. And so I talk about in some of the interviews, I learned the majority of my skills in church. And so I was, music minister for a while. So I managed a lot of the music ministries. I was director of the choir. I learned how to run sound in the sound booth at church. I learned lighting. I learned video. And I also learned event management. And so I was logistics coordinator for the women's conference for a church for years. And I was under the tutelage of Miss Letitia Watkins. Shout out Letitia. And she is
Hey.
one of my mentors. And so I did all of that and honed my skills, right? In a place that they needed somebody to do that, right? But they couldn't afford to pay somebody. So I was able to kind of sharpen my skills and learn a lot and kind of do all those things and put it on my resume
Yeah.
when it came to,
Absolutely.
you know
That
what I
part.
mean?
Absolutely.
And so there are tons of volunteer opportunities where they need you and you actually need them. So I would not, sleep on the opportunity to kind of serve and learn and hone your skills.
I agree.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
And it
saying?
can just unlock so many different skill sets and things you didn't even know
Yes.
you had. Like,
Good point. Good point.
oh, I actually do like this, or I'm really good at that. Like, you can learn a lot about yourself in the process if you just give it a shot.
Oh, I love
And it's
that.
like, I enjoy this. I would do this for free. Like, I
Yeah.
would do this. Like,
Ding, 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 ding,
Ding,
ding,
ding,
ding,
Yeah.
ding. Right? Because that's the
That's it.
formula that you're looking for.
That's it.
It is.
That's
Right?
it.
And if
Yep.
you're not willing to serve and if you're not willing to volunteer, it's another missed opportunity, right? To find out that ding, 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 ding. Like I really, really like this. Trying new things and being ready for change. We talk about that always ever evolving.
Totally.
And so, Cam, is there anything else you want to share or Alaina about Miss Summerwood's interview?
I'll say this
Yeah.
just with the volunteer. Well, I didn't volunteer, so I'll go back a little bit. Just
Uh-oh.
dipping my toe though in
Doot,
2
doot,
events. I was like, okay, I know I like events, but what do I like? Do I want to do decor? Do I want to do coordinating? Like, what is it? And I did, end up just taking like a part-time job, like helping this decorator do events on the weekends. I was working full time, but I'm like, I just want to try it and just see if I like it. And so I took it. Like I said, it was on the weekends. It didn't pay a lot, but it was just the fact that I was able to kind of just try it and see and figure it out. So
Did you like it?
I do enjoy decor.
Mhm.
I don't want to do it all the time. I don't want to make it my profession, but I do enjoy it for sure. I love seeing something turn from like nothing into something beautiful. So yeah.
Yeah. And I think just overall, knowing that level of detail in the decor department, just like, volunteering to learn about sound. I think every event planner, manager, assistant need to know all details when it comes to
Yeah.
events. And so learning how to put flowers in a vase and learning how to put up pipe and drape and, put on the table linen that's straight.
That's
And
straight.
steaming
Exactly.
the wrinkles out. There's just
Yeah.
so many.
Being well rounded is
Being
important
well,
because we end up touching like we end up touching
that was another
everything.
thing she said.
Yeah.
That was another thing she said that I had. Like, we
Okay.
touch everything.
We do.
And the second part of it was kind of what you were already saying, but doing what you love the most. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like picking that part and saying, all right, I really enjoy this.
Right.
So that's what I want to do.
And that's good because I think that's how I figured out kind of my lane and our niche for foundation management is that I really enjoy the workflow, making sure that people have a great experience based off of all the things working together. It's not just the decor, it's not just the AV, and it's not just the registration experience. It's all of it. All of it has to work together in order for the experience to work, for it to use all five senses. I think about when in planning an event, I use the five senses technique. What are we touching, smelling? Like, what is our total experience for people? And if I have an opportunity to make sure that the attendee experiences all of them, then we have a winning event. We have a winning event. So thank you so much, ladies, for sharing your point of view for Sommer Woods' interview. If you have missed it, make sure that you check it out on our YouTube page. And thank you again, audience, for joining us for another episode of All Things Behind the Scenes with your girl, Nina Payne. If you are watching us on YouTube, don't forget to follow, subscribe, and hit that notification bell and be notified when each episode actually shows up. You can follow us on All Things BTS Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. And we welcome all comments and suggestions. So let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you think. And we love hearing from you. Until next time, remember that the only thing that you can guarantee about an event or life is that it will change. So make sure that we're changing with it. Have a good day. Peace.